Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Fans in Motion podcast, the only podcast that you didn't know you needed. I say to my friends, when I look at what's been going on, I have to laugh to keep from crying when I think of how it used to be and how so much has changed. Don't talk to me anymore. Say hello, Josh.
Use that term friends loosely.
Loosely. Brentry, hi.
Andrew, how you doing, buddy?
I'm all right, man. All right. I was catching up on some homework right before we started here, apparently.
Yeah.
So,
Josh, how you doing, bud?
I'm always doing good. Well, except for when I gotta, work with you two. But other than that,
yeah,
Here we go. It's already starting.
we need more pre-production meetings, apparently, or at least pay attention.
or
Pre-production.
just read the 2-word sentence.
Hey,
Ranking
my
it.
excuses. I saw that. What was I? It doesn't matter. I was preoccupied, and it's like I got it. Moving on. Anyway, yeah, input didn't pay any attention to it. So here we are. So the last episode we did was reunited, and it feels okay. I don't. Was it 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? I don't remember when the last time we put an episode out.
I think it was 3 weeks ago. We're getting back on a schedule here, hopefully. So this will be, when this is released, will be 3 weeks, making the fans like want it more because they don't know when they're going to get it.
Yeah.
Brent's mom.
It's like a leap year.
Yeah. Doing leap episodes.
Yeah.
So this episode we're doing was brainchild of Brent himself. We're going to be doing the ranking of the fantastic Shaw Blades album, long awaited, I think, episode that we've really kind of just been putting on the back burner, but it was time, I guess. So here we are. It's gonna be a fun conversation. Been listening
now that
to
I
it
got
all
a
day,
shirt
kind of
to do it.
I've been kind of educating myself on the songs of this album. So
Cabela's and Chevy Truck presents Brent's t-shirt.
Sporting World, was Camping World presents.
Compliments to Kathy Kirkman. Got to drop that name in there again.
Yeah, nice looking shirt. I do not have it. I tried to find my my lost ticket stub, but I can't find where I put it, so I don't have that to show off today for the Shaw Blade show that got canceled on me.
If you wouldn't have called it a lost ticket stub, you would have been able to find it.
Yeah, I mean, well, my basement's in a bit of disarray right now. But hey, it's been a while since we talked. What's before we get into the episode, what's been going on with you guys? Anything exciting going on that I've missed? Josh, you got any concerts you've been going to?
Well, yeah. Oh Lord, any angle but that.
Yeah. I didn't know. I mean, did you want to save that for Night Ranger News? I didn't want to step on it.
Oh my Lord!
No. It just we could do that.
Look at that. I don't even know who those characters are.
Yeah, I'm glad I missed that one.
I could tell you what, we had a hard time keeping the ladies away from us.
Yeah. I bet.
That's why I shaved, just because they were, they followed me here to Lancaster. Couldn't get anything done when I left the house.
Ladies.
Cheers, how Bob are these house?
What show is that, guys?
That would be.
I mean, you throw a picture up, but don't tell us.
That would be the Joel Hoekstra, Brandon Gibbs show at MVP Sports Bar in Cincinnati, Ohio.
And for those that may not know, because we got new fans and casual fans, Joel Hoekstra was the Night Ranger guitarist who replaced Reb Beach, who replaced Jeff Watson. And Joel was in the band from roughly 2007 to early 2015, somewhere in there, something like that, 2014. And played on 2 studio records and the acoustic live record. So we went, Saturday night, and saw the Joel Hoekstra show. Played with his buddy Brandon Gibbs, played a couple solo songs off his 2 solo records. So it was a good time had by all.
Remind us, Josh, why do we know Brandon Gibbs?
Because he was with Joel Hoekstra. Brent can probably answer.
He was in Devil City Angels with Ricky Rocket of Poison, Eric Brittingham of Cinderella, and Jeff LaBar of Cinderella.
Okay.
Brandon's been around the circuit. Oh, he was also in a band. Maybe it wasn't Eric Brittingham. It was Rudy Sarzo. He was a band with Rudy Sarzo. I think that was Devil City Angels. When Bret Michaels was kind of, for lack of better terms, holding Poison hostage. Basically, he was doing his solo tours and wouldn't reunite with Poison. They got tired of waiting around for Bret Michaels. They called Brandon Gibbs up and said, "Hey." I don't think they went out as Poison. I can't verify that, but I know they did some festivals and what have you without Bret Michaels, and next thing you know, there's a Poison tour scheduled.
That's cool. Okay.
So,
but a good time.
Great singer, great songwriter. He wrote a song about this girl was getting married and her dad had died, and someone had contacted about writing a song, and it was called "I Want to Dance with My Friend," and it was pretty moving. It's on YouTube. I suggest everybody go look it up under Brandon Gibbs. He's got some really good stuff. He did some solo stuff. It was fun watching those guys because it had to be like a last minute thing because they only did 3 shows over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We were the second show, and they were just throwing stuff on the list. And Brandon said, that solo that Joel played was incredible. That was not the same solo that he played last night. So there was a lot of improvisation going on. And like Joel comes out and he sings Roadhouse Blues by the Doors. Normally I hate the Doors, but man, he sounded awesome. And he said, that's the reason why I don't sing. He sang really well.
Cool.
So good times.
All right. That's good.
So yeah, I'm going to check out some more Brandon Gibbs stuff now since,
I had just in our time between shows, I went down to the Ryman and saw Sammy Hagar in the Circle, and that's just always a good time. If you guys, I say to you two that I'm talking to, if you get a chance to go, it's fantastic. Anybody watching the show or listening, man, Sammy still puts on a great show. His set list is basically just a greatest hits package. There might be 1 or 2 songs you don't know. I think Brent, I told you played that Van Halen song. What is it? Humans Being?
Oh, Humans Being, yeah. Which that made me lose my shit when you said that.
Yeah, I wasn't super familiar with it, but when he got into it, I was like, oh, I do remember hearing this song. But man, it just opens with the hit and just goes on and on. And
was he still funny? Did he say anything funny to the crowd? I mean, he always has been entertaining.
He was having a great old time. He was mixing drinks on the drum riser. He let when Jason Bonham started talking, Jason was talking to the crowd, and he goes, "That's why you don't give a drummer a microphone, because it just kept going and going." He's like, "All right, shut up, stop talking," And of course, being in Nashville, he had guests jump up on stage with him. So we saw. I was messaging Brent during the show. Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead jumped up. Who, I make no apologies. I do not understand the Grateful Dead. Even Brent, he goes, man, you're trying to, you're Mr. Expand your song. Listen to more music. There's not enough in the world to make me like a Grateful Dead song. And if that makes anybody angry, sorry, I don't care. He stood on stage and wasted 10 minutes of Sammy Hagar's time, and I was irritated by it. But he also had, who was it, Brent? Kenny Kicks Brooks Dunn, one of the guys.
He had Ronnie Dunn.
Ronnie Dunn jumped up, and then Gavin DeGraw jumped up and joined him on stage. So that was awesome, and that's one of the joys of being in Nashville, seeing people join him on stage.
May I for a moment? These are Andy tweets to me, okay, during the show. Here, I'm just getting okay. Bob Weir is on stage with Sammy. Fucking horrible. The great Dead suck. And I wrote back, trucking. Now, Andy, you said the older you get, the more your mind opens to music. I wish one of the guys from Brooks and Dunn just came out, and I'm trying to salvage a song, Not Fade Away. I went, not that open. They suck. Blah, blah, blah. And I asked him if it was Kix Brooks. He's like, no, the taller guy. I'm like, oh, Ronnie Dunn. Kevin DeGraw just came out, blah, blah, blah. And here's where I'll end with. He sang "When It's Love" at the end with them. He was fine. Bob Weir, poop.
So I mean,
if you know a Grateful Dead fan, the best thing I always like to do is they'll talk about Grateful Dead and how great they are and all that stuff, and I'll go listen. I mean, I get it. Like they hit their peak and really hit their creative peak with that song that was really deep, that Touch of Grey song. And when you bring up Touch of Grey to a Grateful Dead fan, they almost just want to go hang themselves.
that their sister Christian.
Well, that is like their only top 40 hit, top 10 hit.
Yeah, that's when that was kind of commercial.
Yep. And so you throw that out there, or Shakedown Street, which is like Grateful Dead disco. The one cool thing about it is they always let you record shows. So they got just every show out there. And what's really cool is with that is there are, if you're a collector, there's certain people that recorded shows that you try to collect. They were better recorders than others. So there's like people out there, fans out there that would record the shows who are actually like kind of famous in that community because of how well they recorded shows back in the 70s. And if I remember correctly, they had probably one of the biggest walls of sound ever, which I don't know what the fuck they're playing, but if you've ever seen, it's just amplifiers stacked to the ceiling.
Well, they probably don't know what they were playing either.
Yeah, well,
I mean, look, I don't mean to disparage any other band. I truly don't. But my God, I just don't get it with that band. Them and Fish, I just truly don't.
I think it's more than music, just like Kiss is more than music. I mean,
at least Kiss has harmony and melody and catchy hooks.
Yeah, well,
I mean, sing that. Take out Touch of Grey. What's that toe tapping catchy hook that you can just hum from Grateful Dead?
Truckin'.
I'll put it this way now, and I'll leave it at this. I heard an interview with JJ French from Twisted Sister, the mighty Twisted Sister, and he was talking about he had a cocaine problem, for a drug problem for many years, and he goes, "I was a deadhead. I traveled around and I saw the dead countless times." He said, "Then I got clean and sober, and his words were, they're fucking horrible." Those are his words, not mine.
All right, we talked enough about the dead and reading text.
Oh wait,
what else?
I want to say, you know what one of their worst bootlegs sounds like?
No,
all you hear is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're gonna catch some crap about this, but anyway, editorial. So let's go on. Is there any Night Ranger news, Josh? Let's get back on topic of a good band.
Night Ranger news. Well, there's all kinds of Night Ranger news going on.
They're covering trucking.
There we go.
I'll skip that track.
Covers record of all Grateful Dead songs.
Yeah.
So Skills has they've released a couple singles. Skills is a new put together band featuring Brad Gillis, Billy Sheehan from Mr. Big, David Huff from Giant, and Zoltan, or whatever his name is, this new singer. So they got 2 singles out. You can pre-order the CD, and they have a vinyl. It's a colored vinyl. I can't remember what color it is, but there is a colored vinyl that you can purchase. So that comes out in May. And then last week, Richard, I don't know if it's Plodner. I might be pronouncing that incorrectly. But he was the producer on the first couple Rubicon records, produced a lot of like the big Three Dog Night records, had some individual hits on of his own in the early 60s. He passed away. I saw it pretty quick through someone on my friends list who's a musician who had worked with him, and I knew that name, and it came to me pretty quick, and he had just posted it. So it's like one of those things where you're like, well, I wonder if Jack and Brad know, and it's like, do they even care? That was so long ago, right? And but then I was like, if they do care, I don't want them learning this guy they've known for 40 years passed away via text message from some dipshit that does their social media. So I got a hold of Ed and just told him, hey, I don't know if they know or if they care, but this person passed away. And those guys were, Jack especially was still friends with him, and they had a lot of good memories. And so they each sent kind of a thing they wanted to write, and we put it on the social, so you can track that down and see what they said. But yeah, so I mean, if you think about it, so Richard Plodner died, produced the Rubicon records. Pat Glasser produced the first 3 Night Ranger records, has passed away. And Keith Olsen, who produced Man in Motion, has passed away. So it's really the only producer left from those classic eras or before Night Rangers, Kevin Elson from Big Life. And what's crazy is he was on the Leonard Skinner plane that crashed and killed.
Oh wow!
Kill those guys. He was their front of the house sound guy. I'm pretty sure he actually came in and produced. They did Street Survivors. They didn't like the sound, so he kind of came in and produced it. Didn't really get credit and redid how it sounded. He was their front of the house sound guy. He was on the plane with them when that went down. But anyways, so a lot of, like I said, a lot of those guys that were key instruments in Night Ranger's career are
Did you
gone.
get the Big Life producer lined up for our next interview?
Yeah, I need to probably get on it.
But you could ask him some questions.
So there was that, like we said earlier, that we went go see Joel Hoekstra. He was doing the Campfire Tour 2022. I got some cool stuff signed, the latest Joel record, which he did a song off of. This was Hard to Say Goodbye. It was cool. They were selling these for $5. So if someone didn't have anything, it's it wasn't like they were too expensive. I got this signed for the 4-year-old White Snake record that Joel's on, and signed it to my son there, Dawson Rock On, with some squiggly marks.
You listen to that album, Josh? I haven't got that one yet. Is it good?
Yeah, I mean they're not bad. I mean they're not something I just put in all the time, but they're good rock albums. The one White Snake record that came out that I really enjoyed, I think came out in 2011, called Forevermore. I'm pretty sure that was that was right. What it was called. There was two studio albums came out about the same time. Joel's not on that, but though that Forevermore one was really good. And then they did one in 2015, which I'm pretty sure Joel is on, which was the Purple record, where they went back and redid all the Deep Purple songs.
Was it Deep as Purple? Something like that?
Oh, yeah. I remember.
I just think it's called the Purple. I don't know. But anyways, that's really good. And they got 2 studio records. They've gone back and redid. I think their newest record is one they went back and re-recorded. That was supposed to be, I think, released in the 90s. I don't know exactly, but Joel on that record probably co-wrote 5 or 6 songs.
Yeah.
And here's something I've been kind of working on for 30 years. It started me just getting something signed in the early 90s. And then after a while, I realized, well, hell, if I'm ever going to do this would be the only thing I really have with everybody. So this is 7 Wishes that I got signed back in the early 90s with Gary Moon and Brad Gillis. And then when I met them in 96, 97, I got Fitz and Jeff to sign it. Now, of course, back then, you don't think much about it, and you're having them sign it in black. But then I realized, well, I got these guys signing it. I got like Jeff and Fitz, who are going to be the hardest. So I've started working on getting every member to sign it over the years. So if you look back in the 90s, I got Gary Moon there to sign it. Over here, there's Brad. I got Brad twice. He signed it to Josh there again. You got some Kelly Kagi. And then a couple years ago, I got Jesse Bradman to sign it. And last month, I asked Eric. So there's Eric's scribble marks, and then there's Carrie. And then I had Joel sign it right there. So amazingly enough, I'm missing Jack. I realized I got Brad twice, but I don't have Jack on here. And I still need Reb Beach, Michael Lardy, and Christian Collins. So there's that. I got signed at the Joel show. And his other records. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
All right. What else we got? Night Ranger news. So last September, there was the Danny Rapepi Memorial Show in Cleveland. Ed Rapepi, Night Rangers tour manager, his brother was killed in a car accident, and they had this memorial show in September in Cleveland last year, and they raised money to basically buy 5 police dogs for different police departments in the area, and they just purchased those and announced which areas would be getting them. So so thanks to everybody who went there, and it was a great time for us. We got to meet a lot of people, and I think in November they're going to have the second memorial show. Not much is known yet if it will be Night Ranger or what it will consist of, where at, or anything like that. But it looks like it'll be somewhere probably in middle November. Last week, Night Ranger played on the 80s cruise. So there was some photos out there. I don't think nothing unique with the set list.
They just did a sail away, didn't they? They didn't actually cruise, did they?
I don't know if it was technically a sail away. They were not on the cruise. They were on the ship, but I don't know if the ship had taken off from somewhere else.
Yeah, it was a port.
And then came in, they played the show and then took off. But there was the 80s cruise, and tons of shows are going to be starting to be announced. Some of the ones that were just announced, there's a show in North Dakota and a show in Cheyenne, Wyoming, where they are opening for Kid Rock. The Cheyenne one just went on sale. I think the North Dakota one goes on sale in a week or two. And your show there, Andrew, Fort Wayne at Sweetwater, just went on sale today or yesterday.
Yeah.
So, somewhere in Indiana, as Tom Chapin would say.
Ding.
So, and a lot more tour dates coming up, and everybody is on there. Like, why aren't they playing here? Why are they not playing there? You got to remember, when these things were scheduled, COVID still going strong in January. So if you're in a state, let's say on the East Coast, that has some stricter, restrictions, they probably didn't schedule shows in those states. So you may not see certain areas for a while, because these shows have all been booked so far in advance. So, you're going to see lots of shows in Florida where they just didn't have many mass restrictions, so they could just book whatever they wanted. So, you're going to see some areas not touched probably for a while, just because of when they scheduled all these shows. Record Store Day release, April 23rd. Night Ranger has 2 records coming out. The first time on vinyl somewhere in California, which Brent has shown on the last episode, is being released on vinyl at Gatefold. So it will be out there on April 23rd. I think there's 1,000 copies of it.
Well, I have some news to report on that as well.
Well, there you go. Spit it out.
Well, I was speaking to Clay. Clay, hooked Andy and I and Josh up with the test pressings, And I was actually trying to pull it up as you were talking. So I got Joel to sign that over Saturday. So I got the very first autographed copy so far. Now I got to get Night Ranger to sign it. But Clay, Sunday, I sent him a picture of it, say, hey, Joel thought it looked great. And he said, all the albums will be at the distributor on Tuesday. So they have all been printed. So it's definitely coming out for Record Store Day. And then he told me that he was sending out the band's copies this week. So they're going to be getting their copies of the blue vinyl.
Nice.
That is cool that they are getting their copies, because that doesn't always happen.
Yep.
So,
well, it's just good to know that it's actually going to be there this time, So that's why I wanted to add that in there.
So you got the Somewhere in California record, and you have the 45 on green vinyl with 2 new Night Ranger songs recorded during the ATVPO sessions. Wasted Time, which I think on the last episode I may said was a ballad. And I think it's because I'd got the Skid Row box set and was listening to Wasted Time. And maybe just because
you just took my joke.
It's not a ballad. It's a rocking song. It's a little bit like tracks 2 and 4 off ATVPO. Baby, bring it all home to me. And then the honky tonker on track 4, where he talks, says something about cocaine, and Eric's playing the saloon piano kind of type thing. So anyways, 2 new songs. You'll enjoy it. Green vinyl, go get it. And the other thing is it's been brought up a couple times where Rick Emmett from Triumph has talked about being asked to join Damn Yankees. And and where would he fit in, and who, whatever. He said it, he talks that Jack was the one that called him. So, I tossed out, because I've never heard this, and except from Rick Emmett. And I thought, well, maybe it was from the late 90s, early 2000s, when they're trying to, find someone for Tommy Shaw. That makes sense. A guitar player who can sing, and, it makes more sense than finding someone to, replace Ted Nugent. You're not replacing Nugent with Rick Emmett, if you're trying to bring in a name. And the individuals said, no, this was during the original period in the early 90s. So I'm not saying it didn't happen. Obviously, I'm not there, but I've never heard any of the other guys talk about it. Like I said, the history that I know that's pretty concrete was, Damn Yankees formed in '88. Ted Nugent, Tommy Shaw, and they used Michael Carlone, and I can't remember the guy's last name. His name's Norm, was the bass player. And at that point, they had 4 songs. One of them was Come Again. One of them was Mystified. And they had the name Damn Yankees then. It didn't quite, they didn't quite get it going. So there was like a 3 or 4 month break. And then they basically say, hey, let's give this thing another try. And it was either right before or right at the time Jack became available, and they threw Jack in the picture. So, I don't know where the Rick Emmett thing comes in. If there was an argument and Ted said I'm leaving, or Tommy said I'm leaving, I've never heard any of that. It sounded like everything was going pretty good from everything I've seen. And all those guys pretty much needed that record, because Ted wasn't selling anything. He could tour. He had the name. He could always get go tour himself, or he could always go open for bigger groups. How he opened for Kiss most of the 80s, but Tommy Shaw, his deal was done. They were not. He'd released the solo records, all 3 of them, were disappointing sales wise. He didn't have a deal and couldn't get one. Jack Blades just came from Night Ranger, where Big Life underperformed, and Man in Motion dead in the water. If no one's buying a Night Ranger record, no one's buying a Jack Blades solo record. And Ted Nugent, like I said, brought that name to the band. So I just don't see where, hey, we're going to get rid of Nugent and bring in Rick Emmett. That don't make any sense. I mean, they made a concession to Ted. They gave 1/3 of all the songwriting credit and the publishing to Ted Nugent. And I can guarantee you that Ted Nugent did not write 1/3 of that music. That's why on there it says all songs written by Tommy, Jack, and Ted. And that was probably one of the agreements was, hey, if I'm joining this band, I've got a bigger name than you two do. You're going to give me a cut of the writing and the publishing. And that's exactly what they did. And they've even alluded to that. You'll hear them joke, we recorded this, high enough, right? We recorded this. Ted was out in the woods somewhere.
Yeah.
Or, I've heard him say, here's our song, high enough. Here's the part that Ted wrote. And they'll just do like a ding, 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 like a guitar little solo, right? So they've alluded to that Ted didn't provide much, but what Ted provided was the name and the guitar riffs. And Ted was happy with that because those were probably some of the biggest checks he ever saw.
Yeah.
I heard Brother Tommy's rhythm and blues coming out high enough, and I knew it just needed this little flair to it. So I lit my arrow, got my guitar out, and this is what came out.
So there we go. That's the Night Ranger news.
All righty. Anybody got any new stuff they still want to show besides the stuff you already shown, Josh? Anything new they got?
Well, I found this.
I was looking. I couldn't find anything I got new.
Import of the cassette.
So you never know what you'll find. I need to go through my stuff more. But yeah, and you would think it would be Japan that changed it.
Yeah.
But no, it's the UK, and I don't know why. Like, to me, Talk of the Devil's worse. Like if you speak of the devil, it's like, oh, I just mentioned it in passing. I'm sorry. But like Talk of the Devil, it's like we're sitting down having a serious fucking conversation about this guy. Like that's worse if I'm talking of the devil than speak of the devil. It's like maybe a bit. Then again, it's Britain. Maybe they were just like, that's not bloody, scary enough.
Yeah,
snooty bastards. So anyways, there's that.
Hello, mate. What did you got? I have the Talk of the Devil cassette.
There's
that's top shelf.
A little advertisement for the December tour that had Brad Gillis, and the bass player would have been Pete Way.
Nice.
So, and it does say Talk to the Devil there.
Yeah.
And this is kind of, I usually do not buy these, like, rock radio 80s hits, and it's got Rockin' America on it or stuff like that. I usually don't buy those, but I will buy them when they've got unique stuff. So this thing, it's been sitting somewhere for 25 years or so. It actually came out in 2001. So it's still sealed, still got the little shitty thing on top. Maximum Rock Hits, Rock Legends. Chick in a bikini there. Do you know what Night Ranger song is on here?
Let's see. Is it a single by any chance?
Yeah, it was a single, I guess.
Okay, so if you guess it, then I would say Let 'Em Run.
Let 'Em Run was never an official single.
But it was on the radio, so.
Doesn't matter. Was not a single.
Okay, well then I guess you could say that what's your strange one from Dawn Patrol?
Young Girl in Love.
Young Girl in Love.
No, the song that is on here is Night Ranger, Sign of the Times.
Not see that coming.
What record label was that?
CMC. So they pulled it from their record.
Yeah, there you go.
So what they got is Leonard Skinner's Sweet Home Alabama, but live, Styx live, and probably some re-records on here as well. UFO Lights Out. It doesn't say that's live, but I would probably go to assume that that's not the original version. But yeah, Peter Frampton live, Eddie Money live. So, but they do have Night Ranger Sign of the Times. So that wasn't very much. I like seeing when there's a unique song on there. I probably shouldn't show these because people will buy them, and I'm trying to get them. So in 2000 and
That was a good year.
2000. I don't know when this came out. I'd say somewhere. I could probably do the maths. 2010 maybe, and somewhere the last date I really see is 2007 when they're talking about Hole in the Sun. But they printed up 2,000 copies. And I'm pretty sure they did the five classic records. And I think these are maybe printed in Greece, something like that. But anyways, here they are. So it's a digipack, and it's got the booklet.
Yeah, that's the reason. Yeah, that's how that comes out, huh?
And it's got a whole history of the band there. Don't ask me how it sounds. I don't remember.
Yeah, I almost bought that recently.
So there's the hype sticker that would come on the CD.
Limited to what, like 1,500 copies?
2,000.
I knew it was something like that.
And then I got number 381.
Ooh, good deal.
So I don't want to spend too much on them, but you don't see too many of them up there. It just says it's made in the EU, so European Union, but don't say exactly where. I'd have to call that phone number, I guess. And then also Target is selling ATBPO autographed, and it's sealed. So if you're wanting ATBPO autographed,
My question to you on that before you go to target.com. You know how I showed you the what was that one Talk Shop Live? The Talk Shop Live one and the one we got from Danbury Comics had two different UPC numbers on them.
I don't know that.
They put a sticker over it. Okay.
So
but these are actually printed on the actual tray. The liner, that the ones that we have from these other two places.
Actually, if you look at this, there's two stickers. This is on top of another sticker.
Okay.
So there's actually 3 barcodes on this if you're into the barcode thing. But yes, it's sealed. If you go to Target's website or whatever app, type in just Night Ranger, you're going to see ATBPO, 2 CDs. Okay. If you look for the one that says Signature Series, that's the one that's autographed. If you go to the other one, it's not autographed. Now, they were the same price, but I just looked before we got on here, and I think they raised these to $13.99. All right. And if you spend over $35, shipping's free. Or if you have a Target Red card, shipping is free. So there you go. Night Ranger autographed. Bada bing.
Also, if they search the Facebook page, Josh, you made a pretty obvious post about it. It was pretty clear to if someone wants to see what it looks like.
So if you go to our page, the Fans of Motion page on Facebook, and then you search while you're on our page and you go to the search, it's going to search our page. So if you type in autographed ATBPO, it should be one of the first posts that come up.
Yeah.
If you hashtag stuff, which I don't, all the time, that's another thing you can do within these groups is if you if I would have hashtag Target, you could have then searched hashtag Target in on our page, and then every hashtag Target would come up. So that's probably something I need to do a little bit more. I grabbed these for Brent Tree when I was in Anderson. So There is the Carrie
Yeah.
Kelly logo that Brent did for Carrie, and there's 2 new designs on there. There's a panda drinking some beers, and there's a sheep there. And
I don't have the sheep.
hey, you do?
I'm gonna look at it right now. I don't think I got the sheep. I got something else.
Yeah,
Hey, wait, Josh, it's pretty cool.
And then there is Carrie has the 40th.
Oh man, that's a nice looking pic.
There is. He has like a little Slayer thing on the back, but it says Aces and Nails. Yay or nay there, turd bird?
Pulling them out right now.
Hold out. So yeah, there's that.
Man, Carrie's got a ton of pics, doesn't he?
He had he has some new, like, with those are the only 2 with the logo. With the 40th anniversary, I think he has 3 or 4 new ones there. He has, hold on, I think I got him up here. He has wait, I already showed that. Hey, take that back, Brent.
What?
May not have the one.
No, there is one more with your logo. So
yeah, you gave me the bear.
Yep.
And you gave me. Oh, I got the donkey.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's what I said. Well, sheep on there, but
what's the other one?
Well, this one I didn't. I forgot that it existed because I just saw them holding the 2 beers, but it is the one with Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
I need that one too now.
Well,
bad looking.
You're going to have to find that one on eBay there, mofo. I'm going to sell that one to you on eBay.
That's cool. I love Pulp Fiction, man. That's a great one.
But yes, when I went and glanced at him, I just saw beers, right?
Yeah.
And
I love the Pulp Fiction. That's fantastic.
And there is.
Say what again?
There's a couple more. This has the 40th, but it's Iron Maiden, Las Vegas.
Nice.
What ain't no country I've ever heard of?
Say
what again? I dare you.
He's got about 15 different variations of the one I designed for him.
Does he look like a bitch? What? I said.
Can I have a drink of your soda?
Then why are you trying to fuck him like a bitch, Brett? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And Mr. Wallace only likes to be fucked by Mrs. Wallace.
I have no idea what you're even talking about.
Because
I'd like to watch that again. Anyway, moving on.
Because you're uncultured swine.
That's a Quentin Tarantino film, so I don't like Quentin Tarantino stuff.
Well, that's because you have no taste.
It tastes pretty good. That's what I hear.
All right. Is that it for showing off stuff we got?
Pumpkin pie, good. Pork chop, good.
Yeah, that's all we got for that.
Well, then, Brent, we were moving on to you, my friend. Your fans in motion shout outs.
Fans in motion.
Which wallet's yours? The one that says bad motherfucker?
Okay. Josh, you got any more quotes?
I could go on forever.
Okay. First one we're going to do here is from James, Too Hot for the Hot Tub Brown.
Go back, want to kiss myself.
Couldn't put his name on this one, but he found one of the Night Ranger newsletters announcing Big Life on the page.
How cool is that, man?
And I'm trying to get that thing covered up, but there we go. Anyway, search the page for James Brown. That was very cool that he posted that. We've had several others in the past. Almost. God, when's our anniversary day coming up? We're going to be 2 years old soon. Because, his lockdown just had started 2 years ago today or yesterday.
I think it's April 15th, something like that.
Yeah, that's coming up right around the corner. Wow, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, James, thanks for posting that. That's very cool of you.
Yeah, I love that.
And this one is from W. Let's see. W. Is that backwards for me, for you guys, or is it backwards for me? W. Orion Fairman posting all his vinyl.
Wow, that's a nice little vinyl collection.
Yeah. Well, he's not making
What-
Josh
what's he-
jealous.
What's he
he's-
missing there, Josh?
I don't know, but I see Wild Innocent Youth there. That's the 12-inch there. He's got probably a promo version or at least a shrink wrap of Big Life. Same with Seven Wishes
Look at the
and
4 Dawn
Midnight
Patrols
Madness.
still in plastic.
Well, he may those may be Boardwalk and MCA. The top
Yeah,
one,
well, picture
top-
disc.
the top
you
one
look-
is the newest colored one.
Yeah, you can see the
Uh,
different colors in the logo. Look, the brightness and the.
And so Dawn Patrol, Midnight Madness, Seven Wishes, Big Life, Man in Motion, He's Greatest Hits. He's got
2 of the 4 colored versions of ATPBO or ATBPO. Excuse me.
he's got 7 there. He's got High Road and Don't Let Up, which are probably the most expensive ones there.
You still
And
need,
and he's got 2 of the ATBPOs.
yeah. Still needs 2 more. So that's pretty cool. I figured Josh would like that post.
Yeah.
And then we
Well,
got what is
Let's go back. Let's go back to that post. So I like to think that we are influencing Night Ranger vinyl sales somewhat by getting people reanimated in their dedication to collecting, Night Ranger vinyl, new and old. So it used to be Night Ranger Greatest Hits. It's one of the rare records that's out there. And if it would come up on eBay, people would put it up for, let's say, $15, and I may or may not buy it. That was 2 years ago. There was one that just sold, and it wasn't a promo. It wasn't sealed. Just Greatest Hits record, 1989. Had 10 bids, sold for $61.
Oh, I didn't check it. It was up to 39 when you and I were talking Saturday night.
So
Very nice,
Yeah.
man. Good.
So there we are. All right. That's all I wanted to say about the record thing there. Go.
Okay.
Well,
Sorry, every time I pop this up, a little Wade Lucas. Wade Lucas posted some pictures from one of Josh's favorite era. The Moon Ranger era.
Gary Moon down there. I see Brad sitting on a stool playing acoustic, and Kelly wearing what is that? A Hawaiian shirt?
I can't tell. It's so small on my screen. I can't see.
oh, yeah, it's something multicolored, but it was the 90s.
Yeah. So there, that was a different time in fandom for all of us, but very cool. They were still out there doing it. And I'm gonna, last but not least, but I saved this one for last because I know Josh is going to really appreciate this post from Carrie Ann Suppen.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's been
looks-
going to town buying up the vinyl she needs,
And
making a
she
little
did-
shrine.
And she did an all right job. Like, that's one thing I'm really like, if someone's got just something off a little bit, like, lined up or whatever, I'm horrible at hanging stuff because I will measure and, measure the whole thing. And, I can't do math unless it's doing stuff like that. And next thing you know, I've got, the circumference of, the living room and everything else. So she did a pretty good job. Nothing out there blaring that I see that's
Very symmetrical.
yes. So good
That's
job.
great, man. I wish I had a spot like that in my humble abode.
Now kick out the wife. You'll have all kinds of spots.
I got plenty of room. It's just in chaos down here. I'm in the process of doing a lot of shit in my basement.
Yeah, Andy's selling a lot of his stuff off. A lot of comic books.
I'm parting ways with all my memorabilia.
Man, that's rough. Anyway, that's Fans of Motion news brought to you by Clearasil. Hey, if you got a zit and you need to pop it, and it looks like Josh, put a little bit of Clearasil on there and you'll look like Andy.
All right,
There you go,
motherfucker.
Josh. You'll know this
Speaking
one,
of
Josh.
Josh, look at that little baby face he's got going on. He's shaved.
I'm a zit. Get it?
Yeah.
Well, every now and then I like to remind myself how fat I've become. So I'll shave off my beard.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, look like a naked mole rat.
You're not fabulous Picasso brother material right now.
Hey.
Check your refrigerator.
So
All right. Is it time?
It is time.
Andy, you got your list ready?
I do now.
All right.
Now that you guys finally told me about it. Jesus.
So 1995, I think we just celebrated the 32nd. No, that's
20
not right.
27th. I was going to say
27th, 27th.
March 14th.
There we go. There, big.
Oh, you did
big,
do some
big brain
homework.
on Andy.
Hey, look at the big brains on Brett. So you guys remember like buying this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
About a day it came out.
So did
Camelot
you?
Music.
So you knew it was coming out.
Yep.
Did you know anything about it?
I knew whatever Brent told me. We'd heard My Hallucination, did we not?
Trying to think when Tommy Boy came out that summer.
So we didn't hear it.
We heard it in the film, but I remember I was going nuts because I was trying to figure out who was doing a rap version of I Love It Loud when I went to see Tommy Boy in the theater. That's a whole nother story. Because that movie, let's just touch on that movie for a second. When it came out, it was dead. It was at the dollar cinemas pretty quickly. And I remember it was a Wednesday night, and back in another marriage, I was engaged to someone beforehand, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to go see Tommy Boy." She's, "Well, why don't you wait till this weekend?" I'm like, Anyway, she didn't want to go, but she wanted to go, I guess, to make sure I was actually going to see Tommy Boy. And the theater was empty. And I called Andy after I left and said, "You got to go see Tommy Boy. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life at the time." And next thing you know, Tommy Boy, when it got that second resurgence in the theater, it just exploded at those dollar theaters. And I was really hoping it would put My Hallucination on the map.
Yeah, I put the Carpenters back on the map a little bit. That was part of the.
Don't you remember you told me you love me, baby?
Do you want to turn it? Well, you leave it if you want.
It's okay.
You can turn it if you want.
Did you? Did I hear a niner in there? So
738 miles.
A lot of people go to school for 7 years.
Yeah, they're called doctors.
That's what you say, Richard.
Before the record came out, Metal Edge did like a thing where they went to Tommy's apartment, and Jack was sitting there writing. So they had some photos of them, in the studio, and all that stuff. And I just remember like, yeah, we go for a jog every morning. I'm like, whatever, how old I was, 16 years old or whatever. I'm like, how cool would that be? Just you're there and you see him jogging in the morning, you know what I mean? Like just stuff like that. But I do remember them giving a song title, Don't Talk to Me Anymore. And I'm thinking, oh, that's just a rocking title, right? Damn Yankees, rocking title. So there was a record store here in town called Sound Exchange. And I didn't know when the record was coming out, but then one day I was at the store and bam, sitting there is this record, right? I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. So I grabbed this. This is going to be a rocking record, right? Totally not a rocking record.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, all right, what the hell did I just listen to? I was so excited to play it for my friends. I suddenly was not.
Yeah.
But what is weird is this has become one of my favorite records. Not that it wouldn't have been like, yeah, I was expecting a rock record, but I'm a fan. I'll probably end up liking it no matter what, but it's become one of my favorites. I consider this like one of my top cruising records. Like,
yep.
I remember me and my buddy drove out to Vegas. We just picked up all our shit, drove out to Vegas back in 98. And we took 6-hour shifts. So he's in the back. We were in a Chevy Celebrity and he's in the back sleeping. And that's during the day. And I'm driving through Utah where you see a sign that says, no service next 100 miles. And there'd be nothing, and it would just be you, an empty highway going about 100 miles an hour. And there'd be snow-capped mountains in the background. I remember just playing this record, just like, this is life. This is perfect. But it's also a record that a lot of my friends eventually got because I ended up playing for them and they all enjoyed. So this is probably the record that I probably turned the most people onto. Now, I'm not saying it was the right record to release at that time because you really only had one shot at a major release with Warner Brothers. So if it doesn't work, you're not getting that big record label shot again. And just at the height of grunge, not that I don't know if you could have did anything to make it work, but that's not getting played on rock radio at all. I heard it at a drugstore. What was the song? To Be Always Be With You. I heard it in a Muzak drugstore that summer.
I heard it at TJ Maxx and about lost my shit.
Yeah, but
I'm like, oh my God.
It was at this little pharmacy down in Southern Ohio. So because there were still rock radio stations, at least here in Central Ohio, that if you released a new song, they would play it for 2 or 3 weeks, like the new Def Leppard or the new Slash's Snake Pit. So they would, the Gilby Clarke, they would give it airplay. So if you came out with, they played Damn Yankees on the Blitz here in Columbus. They would play some Damn Yankees every now and then, but this wasn't getting any radio play on rock radio. So that's a topic for another episode. But I think we can all say now that this is a record that we all appreciate, and ranking it is not easy because all these songs are near and dear to my heart, and we're only ranking the US version. The Japanese version has 2 bonus tracks, How Does It Feel and Straight Down the Line. Straight Down the Line was re-recorded on Tommy Shaw's solo record in '97, Seven Deadly Sins. And I think Kevin Cronin does Jack Blades' part. And Straight Down the Line is I can't believe it didn't make the record because it is one of the best songs that was recorded. So we're not ranking the Japanese version, How Does It Feel, or Straight Down the Line, just the 11 tracks from the US release. So how do you guys want to do this?
Obviously, we'll go backwards, right?
Yeah, we're going backwards. 11-1.
So we'll just start with one of us and just circle back around.
Okay, I'll be bold. I'll go out there first.
Well, let me ask you this, Andy. When you first put the album in, what did you think?
Well, so my initial reactions were, I didn't know what to expect. My overall was like, you hear My Hallucination, and you open up and I'm like, oh, this rocks a little bit, and then it stops rocking a little bit. So it's very folksy, very. I use the term. No, don't you dare! Watch your filthy mouth. Americana, it's fun. I have a couple of notes I had when I was going over the tracks today. Was like, some of these songs would be fantastic if I had the ability to sit with friends around a campfire and just sing, strum acoustic guitar and play some songs. But they're good. I mean, they're not that they're bad. It's again, and I know we always sound like homers and fanboys because it's hard to rank. This was tough to do because these are all really good songs. There's one or two that I just, I would skip. But like just again today, refreshing myself with this CD and just like, man, these are really some good songs. A lot of them sound like, and I wish I could. Maybe you do know who wrote what, but a handful of these sound like definite Jack Blades style solo songs. I don't know how to put it to people. When you hear it, know it. If you listen to Jack Blade's solo albums, they don't sound like anything Night Ranger would have done. And I don't know if that's just because of the band dynamic, but when I hear certain songs, I'm like, this sounds like it could have been on a Jack Blade solo album. And it could have been written by Tommy. Who knows? I don't have those detailed notes, but
neither do
I wrote it down to hear a couple of songs like this sounds like it could have been on a Jack Blade solo album. So,
Brent, do you remember the first time you
Absolutely. I had no expectations on it other than I knew it was going to be good because these two guys, when they get together, harmonize like two other people don't,
Yeah, I
It's
mean, they're
just,
meant to be together. It's
yeah,
fantastic.
it's absolutely, yeah, it's just sonically pleasing. I knew that there was going to be some acoustic stuff on it just because I had seen that thing that you were talking about, Metal Edge. But maybe they didn't say it was going to be, acoustic stuff in there. But I think they got Steve Smith from Journey, I think, plays on one of the songs.
He plays on most of the songs.
Okay.
Yeah, him and Michael Cardelloni.
Yeah. And so in any event, when I first put it in, I totally fell in love with the whole thing. I was just thought it was great. It was fun. When we do a in-depth look at the album, more will come out as far as my opinion, and stuff. But I mean, there's stories on this record. It's fantastic. And you wonder how much is real, how much the names were changed to protect the innocent, like in Down That Highway. It's just written perfectly. Great stuff.
And I would like to hear more from these two. I mean, I think they're great. Like Brent said, they're great at what they do.
That's what
if you touch on the Influence album too, that was fantastic.
Yeah, but that was a letdown to me because I wanted to hear original music.
Well, I want to hear original music as well. But for a tribute album or a covers album, it's one of the best covers records out there. I mean, their version of Dance With Me is phenomenal.
Summer Breeze. Come on.
So, and I just don't think they really have probably the time to even do a record. I mean, that's I think why they were doing a cover record, and they have a lot of a second one recorded.
Yep.
But I just don't think they got the, there's other, Styx is such a huge machine. Night Ranger's a huge machine, obviously. And Tommy, I think, did release, I think they did a Led Zeppelin cover or something that he released during the pandemic, where I think he either took Jack's stuff off or what, I don't know, but it came from that influence to recording.
Yeah.
So Andy, let's kick it off with you. What is your track that you rank the absolute worst?
This is so my
you do this. Why?
So my bottom two could have been flipped. The reason I moved the one to the very bottom was, and I'll explain when I get to my number 10 song why. There's a real issue I don't like with my number 10 song, but overall I like the song. But my number 11 is Blue Continental. To me, the song is just okay, and it drags a little. It just doesn't. If there's a throwaway on this CD, that would be my throwaway. I'm like, this song is one I would skip. It just doesn't do anything for me. It's not. And the thing is, it's not bad. Just doesn't do anything for me. So
Brent,
that's what I got.
Do you agree with him at 11? What do you got?
No, I went ahead and did the one that you and I probably both will agree on. It actually does in the album. It's the end. It was just something they threw on there, stating this is the end, and
so that was my last song. But I switched it at the last minute, so I feel you.
Well, it's a little bit of a nod to the Beatles, I think. Her Majesty off Abbey Road, and Tomorrow Never Knows. I think I don't know if it ends Revolver or not. But I'm pretty sure it does. But so the Beatles were always, on some of their albums, they would have some trippy stuff, or like I said, Her Majesty's an acoustic thing at the end of Abbey Road. And with Blue Continental, I guess at one time, Andy, I would somewhat agree that it was lower on my list.
Yeah.
But the older I get, like me and my buddy used to cruise around his old early 80s Oldsmobile Cutlass.
Yeah.
And so you just get that trippy feeling, just relax and just in your Blue Continental. And I don't know, there's something about, when this song came out, there were still these cars on the road still a little bit. Now there's not. I mean, and people that aren't our age or a little bit younger, they don't know just how it was to be in a car, you
To go
know,
cruise.
like the size of a Central American country,
Mhm.
with, basically a couch in the back seat.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you hit something, it was like events in a third world nation. They were so far away, like did it really happen? But, we used to, one of our part-time jobs we would clean this theater at night, and they would have all that theater popcorn, the good stuff, right? And we would just put it all in a huge garbage bag, and I would pump the shit out of that good butter, where it's like a soup, right? And all week we would cruise, and we would have that big ass bag of popcorn in between us, right? Just munching away, going through McDonald's, getting our $1.06
Yeah.
Cokes,
Yeah.
Cherry Coke, and living life. So that is why Blue Continental to me
Yeah,
does
it's got more value to you.
it's taken on more in my older age. So my number 11, again, it's a good song. It was the early version of Toby Keith, How Do You Like Me Now? How you going to get used to this?
Oh yeah.
So that is,
I have that a little higher though, but yeah, I get you.
that would be my, because I was debating with Brent, the end, and I was like, you know what, I can sit here and almost sing the end.
Yeah.
Now it's not that fucking long, which is
Right.
good for my memory, but to me it's like, well, the end's got to be ranked higher if it's just, it means more to me. So how you going to get used to this is my number 11.
That
Brent,
surprised me, but yeah.
you're number 10.
That would be Andy, right?
No, I'm fucking screwing around, man, a little bit.
My number 10 would be The Night Goes On.
Horrible. You obviously don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm a little different on you.
The Night Goes On. Harmonies up the bung. That's like,
Absolutely.
that's a big harmony song.
As I say, in every one of these ranking songs, there are 9 songs better than this.
Wrong.
I don't know about that. Andy, you're number 10.
So my number 10 is This Is the End. And my reason being is solely for one thing. This song is really good. I love it lyrically, melody. It's great until the very high pitched end. Have you come to be my, that high, whatever that is, the
falsetto
call and response. That comes on, I skip to the next. I just move on to the next track.
Again, that's a good little Beatle type thing where they harken back to a previous track.
And they're
I just
playing a little bit.
I mean, other than that, it's a good tune.
Well, I
didn't really like ranking it that low.
No,
I get it. I there's the things that I can enjoy a song and just one thing pops up and I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, take for example your issue with the French horn. I get it. I get what you're saying now, because this is that song for me. I'm like, oh my God, if they just didn't do that, this song would go so much higher in my list.
And that doesn't bother me. Because I just, it's part of what the charm of what the song is, in my opinion.
I mean, if it was a real song,
sure,
maybe, but to me, it's something.
And it's just an ending.
It's an ending, like I said, they're playing, I think, a little tribute to the Beatles. My number 10 is The Night Goes On.
You just told me I didn't know what I was talking about. That's what I said.
Oh, universally, you could say that about anything and be but
I think you're both way off on that one. But
you just ate your own words there.
It's it's just those two songs, like, I guess would just, and they're like right back to back with each other, if I remember correctly. And it was just always the little part that kind of maybe like the little lull in the album or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it.
But that's part of the charm of the record. A little bit of highs and lows. And so my number 9. My number.
Wait,
9.
what did we miss from Andy? You just skipped Andy's 10, didn't you?
No, mine was at the end.
The end.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
And my number 9 is the end. I really like the part where they go, "Come to be my friend," and
You do not. You're
Have
such
you
a.
come to be my friend?
Holy Christ! Never
That's
do
what
that.
that's what something of Tom Kiefer's joined.
Yeah,
Oh,
never do that again.
don't I got to get loud if I want to do Kiefer.
All right, don't stop.
Don't, please don't.
So again, just for the fact that it's not a full track. But like I said, it's stuck in my head more than some stuff. So it is my number 9.
Yeah.
Andy, number 9.
So my number 9 is "I Can't Live Without You." Good tune. I have no real issues with it. And as I'm listening to it today, I'm like, this kind of reminds me a little bit of "Sunday Morning" from Neverland, which actually this would probably be before Neverland. But my point is when I hear it, I get that same vibe. And normally that's a good thing. I love that song "Sunday Morning" by Night Ranger. But like Brent alluded to earlier, there's songs I just like better. And this was actually the last song I put on my list as far as rankings, because I was looking like which one I missed a song as I was going through my list. And I was like, oh yeah, I missed this song. So it fell to there by default. It's not a knock on the tune.
I think you're definitely wrong. You're starting to take over the Brent role in this. Brent, number 9.
Wrong.
My number 9, or from what I understand, it's fucking fantastic with a 7-day-old bag of popcorn in the back of your car. Blue Continental.
Maybe that's what I'm missing. I need that bag of popcorn.
I can just imagine
Eastgate Boulevard.
Josh has got the bag of popcorn back there. Who's your buddy? Who's driving the car?
My buddy Ed.
Ed rolls down the window. Popcorn's fucking everywhere. Josh, you didn't seal the bag up.
We found popcorn.
See, I knew it.
Forever. But like I said, he had a early 80s Oldsmobile Cutlass. But yeah, the popcorn, like I said, we worked at the theater like on the weekends after they closed. Weird little thing that would never see now is they would have the big spools of film, because we'd go up in the room. Mm-hmm. And the other thing I learned was originally when we first started, we would fight like the first couple of nights, like, all right, who's going to clean the men's room? I don't want to do it. You do it. That quickly changed because the women's restroom was way nastier than any men's restroom. So that is more what I learned from that job. That little canister that's on the side there.
Yeah.
Kick out with your foot. God knows what would come out of that motherfucker. Oh my Lord. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear Beth. I'm going to say a place I worked at. The maids would, not the maids, what do you call them? The cleaning ladies would stop cleaning one of the restrooms because the women would just throw their tampons used on the wall.
Anyways, we didn't need details.
And one time a girl walked into the bathroom, there was just a log of shit on the floor, and she took a picture of it. It showed it to me. She's like, there's just shit on the floor. And this was a nice company.
Hey, you can leave things to the imagination.
I'm just telling you, I can second what you're talking about women's bathrooms.
You can just go, I second that motion, and leave out the.
I don't have any stories like that to tell you, Josh.
Leave the wall hangers.
You talk to no women, Andy.
I mean, I've got stories. I'm just not going to tell.
Yes, Blue Continental. That at one time it would have been lower on my list, but
yeah, I get it. I get you.
You kind of look back 20 some years and you're like, hey, those I get what they're talking about now. So Andrew, you're number 8.
Number 8 for me is "Come to Be My Friend." And
Come to be my friend.
I love the feel of this. As my notes, I love the feel of this song. The intro reminds me of the opening of Uncle Tom's Cabin by Warrant, and I enjoy the chorus of this song a lot. This is a good tune, man. And if you haven't listened to these songs in a while, really do yourself a favor and put them on and just enjoy. Headphones are great with this
Yeah.
too, man, because there's a lot of little stuff in the background I didn't
Now
recognize
here
until
we are.
I put headphones on today, walking around, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
memory.
Good song. Good song. Number 8, Brent.
My number 8 has Hank Jr. blasting on the radio.
Hank
How you gonna get
Jr.
used to this?
Blasting on the radio.
I like all those little words or those little, references they put in that song. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good tune.
Yeah, because and from that part after that, it just started really getting tricky with me. Because it started getting tougher. Because now, I love Blue Continental. I love The Night Goes On, but those were songs I will skip because I want to be more in an upbeat mood, perhaps. And but I like now how you're going to get used to this. But that's number 8.
My number 8, I was a little surprised I ranked it at number 8. I thought it would be higher when I did this, but that's just where it fit in, and it's always got some good lyrics that I always enjoyed, and definitely an album. I think the older you get, and maybe not for you guys because you guys were all you guys were probably married. You guys are already having the life sucked out of you by 1995 to where this is the year that I'm graduated. I'm a senior in high school, so I still think life, is I'm still
You
getting
still had hopes and dreams.
I'm still getting the chili dog at the Tasty Freeze or whatever it is there.
Thank you, John Cougar.
But what happened to the days? What happened to the days of summer? They came and went too fast. Should have known it wouldn't last forever. Getting lucky with a girl at the drive-in, keep me happy for a month or two. Somehow, this song is my number 8, Down the Highway.
Yeah, that's surprising because that is just such a, great little like a Jack and Diane-ish type song in the sense of just reminiscing.
And they mentioned my favorite, one of my favorite pastries, Little Debbie's.
Little Debbie.
And who was it? Who got lost in L.A.? Paco.
Jimmy got lost somewhere. Paco's in trouble with the DEA.
Yeah.
RJ took the easy way out. Little Debbie never knew just what it was all about. It's all about nutty bars, bitch. That's what it's about.
Oh, still don't know today.
That's what I was saying when I said, we'll go in depth deeper. I wonder how much of that's true. And the names might have been changed, from people they grew up with.
I would say it's
or it's just all part of their imagination.
I would say if
hallucination.
Who took the easy way out? Fred. Well, we ain't putting Fred in the song, even though you never know.
Fred was a real jerk. We'll call him RJ.
So, Brent, your number 7.
My number 7 is Josh. Don't get turned on or nothing, but I can't live without you. Boy, I would almost sound like what's his face, more cowbell.
Christopher Walken.
Yeah, Christopher Walken.
Yeah,
I can't live without you.
I got a prescription
now.
Well, cowbell.
Whenever I hear this song,
I put my pants on just like you, one leg at a time. But after they're on, I make gold records.
Whenever I hear this song, it always reminds me of a Folgers commercial at the beginning. 6 a.m. Time to wake up. Time to play that game again, and I just see a Folgers commercial.
Paul Stanley walks into a circus tent.
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, YouTube, Paul Stanley Folgers commercial. And it never aired.
My thing is I love when he's like, when he's like looking off to the side, he turns real quick. The best part of waking up. Watch that sudden,
and he vanishes.
Well, that.
I've recently watched it. That's why.
Well, it's funny because I had that on. I had just the audio of that for years, and I thought, wow, he sounds really good. And I can't believe that wasn't on the. I think the audio made it to the radio.
Then you see it.
But when you put the commercial, No.
I actually stopped drinking Folgers because of that commercial.
You said it was because of crystals.
Yeah.
The crystals.
The-
But anyway, yeah. So
That's
when
cough.
you listen to that, I can't. I mean, I'm telling you, it just sounds like a Folger. You know, that's just what it reminds me of. It's not bad. It just
well,
that's what
I think what's good is even though they do say that, time to wake up, time, they convey that feeling, just that music, just
Yep.
real laid back. You're kind of getting your day started. I'm not putting Folgers in. I got chocolate nuts, but
yeah,
Yeah, you do.
so
nothing.
dude, I've been drinking chocolate nuts for years, and how many times have I heard that? See, they used to sell peanuts. Then in the 20s, they sold, or in the early 30s, they sold peanuts and coffee. Then in the late 30s, they got rid of the peanuts, just kept the coffee, and they kept the name. So there you go.
Awesome.
So you're number 7 there, Andrew.
Number 7 for me is "I'll Always Be With You," and this is again another really good song. It's very folksy to me. And this is the first one I thought this sounds like it could have been a Jack Blade's solo song. If you pull out the Jack Blade solo album and this, put them side by side, you're like, yeah, it's in that same vein to my my horribly tone deaf, untrained ear.
I think that was technically the only single from the record. Hallucination was on the soundtrack, but I'm pretty sure this was the only
The only video.
I mean, there's a video for it,
video and single,
and that's why I say I don't know. Like maybe if we do a deep dive on it, it would kill me if it was a Tommy song, like he wrote it, Jack sings it, because I was like, no, but it sounds like total Jack Blades to me.
Here, I'll tell you why you guys are talking.
But yeah, I mean that's it. I had nothing with the song. Just that's there's other songs I like better.
My number 7, which I think, Andy, you've already mentioned it, is "Come to Be My Friend."
Yeah.
Not a bad song, but
You get what I'm saying about the Uncle Tom's Cabin intro? The kind of
I didn't until Brent did that.
sound just like it, didn't it?
I thought it was a jukebox.
You thought a guy from Warrant was on the other end.
I'm like, hey, but
Who's that? Is that Bill Shakespeare over
I'm
there?
like, who had Cherry Pie queued to the right song? Just on, but I'd have to listen to it again. But yeah, "Come to Me, My Friend." It's one of those songs where, you know what? I'm surprised I actually have it that high, because even back then, it was just one of those songs, a little trippy. Like, what is actually, now here you are, have you come to be my friend? Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I think it's about drugs.
Lyrically,
the whole song sounds like it's about drugs.
well, unfortunately, I wasn't doing drugs back then, because, and now, but
disclaimer.
but, in case,
He's RJ from the DEA is on the other line.
well, it's one of those things my lawyer would tell me to say that. Just like my lawyer told me, like, hey, if you're going to have a baseball bat, in your car,
yeah, put a ball in the glove in there.
do me a favor, throw a glove in there. And for those that don't know, it's easier. Why did you have I was going to softball practice, man.
Yeah.
Just wasn't in there to bash.
When I broke that guy's spleen with it.
We had a buddy who had a metal stick with a handlebar grip on it. He called it the Peacemaker.
Yeah, that'll definitely.
There's no hiding what it was for.
Yeah, you definitely don't
want Peacemaker.
You don't want anything modified. But
Andy.
Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about. "Come to Me, My Friend." Just the maybe the drug angle. I don't know, but it just I guess lyrically was probably the one song that never I connected with too much. So I'm actually surprised. Maybe it's at 7, but my number 6, I'm like one behind Andy on some of these. My number 6 is Always Be With You. Um,
Yeah.
Again, maybe it's that first impression, that saying, first impressions last and all that stuff. Just my hallucination, like, okay, that's a little light, it'll kick in. Yeah, kicking the nuts. It went to like, what the fuck is this air supply? And I mean, eventually, obviously I like it, but not what, my 17-year-old self was expecting. So, just, I think it always was like, that was just a little bit too syrupy and everything for me, especially at the time. But that is my number 6. Brent, your number 6.
Back when this album came out, this would have been the top 3. I love the storytelling behind it. I love the songwriting on it, but it's Come to Be My Friend.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I love the I love the intro. The intro takes it right, when that little guitar slide and it goes right in there. And that's and Jack, he's kind of got that little twang to his voice a little bit when he's singing it, and it's cool. It's a cool tune. It's got, like you said, listen to it with headphones on. It sounds fantastic with headphones on.
Yeah, this album really does.
Earbuds or whatever.
There's a lot of just little stuff in the background, like there's shakers and there's a little bit of harmonica here and there. You're like, what is that?
And you especially hear it in this song and the and all that crap. It's good.
Yeah,
great recording.
Yep.
Andrew, your number 6.
Number 6 for me is The Night Goes On, and this is a really solid song. And I actually, when I looked back at my list, I was like, I'm surprised I ranked that at 6. And I'd say this is probably the best. For me, my favorite Tommy vocal on this thing. Just, I think he sounds great on this track. For me,
and lyrically, this might be some of the best lyrics that, at least, maybe Tommy Shaw with Styx stuff, Castle Walls or stuff like that. I'm not going to bring that into it, but let's say Damn Yankees, his solo record. And let's say Jack Blades, these are probably some of the lyrics. Like, I right away know where to go in the book, because I always you reach for your last cigarette. Oh yeah, you ought to quit. You ought to do a lot of things, but sometimes you forget. That's just a good little lyric. Like, there's a lot of these on this where lyrically, it isn't a lot of times where it's lyrically, I'm attracted to a Damn Yankees song because of the lyric. Or a Night Ranger song. Night Ranger song, pretty much the coolest lyric is, used to call me by my first name, but you never even call me at all.
Yeah.
And after that, it's just, there's something here and there that you maybe like, but
you could relate to it.
These are almost,
a lot of us have been that guy. Like you said, you reach for your last cigarette. Yeah, I ought to quit. But we've all been. It's not some kind of fairy tale or fantasy song. It's like, yeah, I've kind of been there. I get what you're saying. And I said it probably should have been a little higher, but like I said, I think Tommy sounds great on this song. I think this is where he shines. And Tommy, I mean, that's hard. Tommy's a phenomenal singer. It's not that Tommy ever sounds bad. I just think this is where he really shines on this song.
That's where we were talking about Rick Emmett earlier. That's, to me, it's not really Rick Emmett playing guitar. It's Rick Emmett singing. To me,
what are you bringing him in for?
Yeah, it's you.
What are you missing? Great harmonies? Sorry, you got Tommy Shaw.
See, I think Rick Emmett got it all screwed up. I think they wanted Gil Moore, a singing drummer. And he's like, screw it. Gil's not going to say he was in Damn Yankees. It's going to be me.
He said he took the call, and I don't know. Like I said, I always went back to late 90s when they brought Damon Johnson in. I thought maybe Rick Emmett, would have been there, but they say incorrect. Yeah. All right. So those are our number 6s. Brent, let's do number 5 for you.
Well, something I've been wanting to tell you for a long time, Josh. Don't fucking talk to me anymore.
There you go.
Don't talk to me. Oh, no.
Great song. I open with that.
It is fantastic. Love the little bongos and
Yeah.
You know, like you
And
were
I think
talking
that's
about
Michael on that song playing.
the lyrics and what have you. Yeah, Jack knows how to phrase a lyric. Yeah, I mean, the man is just gifted with that. Always has been.
That's a Tommy song, right?
Yeah. But I'm just adding on to what you were saying about, you know, the lyrics. Jack can phrase a lyric, man.
And like I said, I just remember and I remember that was the only title they used, you know, in that write-up. I don't know, maybe 6 months before the record came out, was "Don't Talk to Me Anymore." And it's like, you kind of think of "Don't Tell Me You Love Me," "Don't Talk to Me Anymore." Like, and so I'm waiting, you know, I get punched with "I'm Always Be With You," and then "Come to Be My Friend." I'm like, all right, here's where it's going to, "Don't Talk to Me Anymore." And it's just like, this just keeps getting lighter.
Yeah, but you know, but you got the lyrics like, you know, till you get some religion, till you're down on your knees, you know, you could beg for forgiveness. I forget. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. It just it's just so freaking great. Yeah. You know, wish this album would have took off, because a lot of people really need to hear this record that's never going to hear it.
Yeah, it's a great record. Again, I mean, if I was their manager at the time, I would have been telling them, "Hey, this is good. This is great. This is bad for your career. You got a major label here ready to push us. You're not, the only thing you're gonna get played on is rock radio. You know, Sunny 95 or whatever, you know, Late Night with Delilah or that fucking shit is, they're not going to play this. I mean, it could be played, but they're just not going to. Your only bet is to get a little bit of rock radio behind you." And, you know, what it ended up doing was not getting any airplay, any push, and it alienated a lot of people. You know, I mean, a lot of fans out there aren't like us, you know, who were expecting Styx, Night Ranger, and they did not get that. And I mean, I don't know if that's why the tour didn't happen, is if they took all the support from it, because, you know, like I said, this album was pretty much, you know, dead right when it came out. Even, you know, but like I said, I just know Warner Brothers pushed it because you obviously got the Tommy Boy push. They had all kinds of promo stuff in the stores. Just maybe wrong album. I don't know when the right time for this album would have been, I guess, if you think about it. I mean,
there isn't.
But it's a great album. So Brent's number 5, Don't Talk to Me No More. My number 5, My Hallucination. Probably higher than I thought it would be. It's one track that I always thought was maybe more towards the bottom, but I think maybe I just like it because I know it kicks off the record. Like, all right, here we go. You know, I'm back to one of my favorite records. So maybe that's why it sticks up there. Lyrically, I don't think, you know, like, I could probably talk more about these songs I've ranked lower than above it, but like I said, I think some of it is just because it kicks off the record, and there's the you know, and I do like the beginning. Manson lived, Lennon died. You don't know the reason why I'm crying. So it's got a good groove. Probably
I think maybe you look at it as the disappointment because it was the tease. You're like, this is it. Oh, it's a letdown.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, this album
this thing's gonna rock.
Well,
if this is the first track.
At the time, I was like, this album can't get any, you know, lighter than this. Yeah, it's like, hey, let's punch you in the for the next 3 songs.
The songs totally set the tone for the album.
I don't know if it did. I mean, it's
you don't think so?
There's only 2 songs. There's only one other song I really think compares to it, and none of us have mentioned it yet. So we all have it
higher than. Yeah, and I know what that song is too.
So that's the only song to me, and it doesn't, you know, it's not even a comparison of want the other, like how good it is. So, like I said, my Hallucination was always a little bit lower. Somehow it squeaked in at number 5 for me. Andrew, number 5.
Number 5 for me is How You Gonna Get Used to This. And this song is just this song just drives, man. It pumps, it rocks, whatever term you want to use. It's a good all around song. And I got my main note that I liked on the song is the verses are gritty. You know, the chorus might get a little I don't know, homogenized, but I think the verses of the song are just really the cook, man. Like, yeah. I was like bopping my head, like, yeah, I mean, how are you gonna get used to this? So yeah,
it's kind of like
I think it's a solid tune, man. I think it's one that, again, if people go back and listen to it, you'll go, oh yeah, that is a good tune. Like, you just forget about this album, but you shouldn't, because it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the Toby Keith song came out 2000, How Do You Like Me Now?
Yeah.
Which right before I went to basic training, that song was just huge, right?
Yeah.
So basic training, there's no radios or anything like that. That was the one song I had stuck in my head for like 7 weeks. I was just like,
yeah,
God,
it's a fun song.
Can't wait to hear something new, to get this earworm out of me. But when I heard it, I'm like, that's kind of lyrically like, how are you going to get used to this? I obviously have it a little bit lower, and so does Brent. My number 4 is the 4th track on the record, Don't Talk to Me Anymore. Just probably some of the best harmonies those two have ever did. I don't know why it's number 4. I mean, I start sometimes thinking like about some of the other lyrics and stuff.
It's almost too pretty for you to have it that high.
Yeah, well, it's almost like too. It's like, number 1, have you really ever told someone straight up, "Don't talk to me anymore"? That meant something to you, right? And if you have, there's hate in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just too pretty of a song to have hate, so that's like where it always conflicted. Like when I saw the song title, I'm like, this is going to be a fucking barn burner, kicking some ass and shit. And I'm
hey, don't talk to me anymore, okay? Hey, how's your mother?
Can you go a little bit higher? And I'm like, maybe that's going down on my list more. I don't know.
Talking yourself out of it.
It's like, no wonder she's probably, all fine with it. Like, I don't want to talk to your pansy ass. So I don't know, but that's my number 4. It's a pretty song.
Yeah, it is.
Andy, you're number 4.
Number 4 for me is Down That Highway, man.
My list and your list are kind of flipped.
Yeah, actually, when you were rattling off, I was like, I'm really.
I think we're all kind of flipped. We're all pretty close on it, except for a couple.
Yeah, Down That Highway. And this is just another great fun song. I love it's like Americana in the first half, and then the tempo changes, and I was like, what the heck? And it kind of gets into this. This is the one I put. This would be awesome, Brent, to sit around with, like, Bobby and Gary around a campfire and just everybody just going at it, singing this song. Yeah. I mean, you and I can't sing to save our lives, but
nope.
This is just this song is just fun. It's fun. The tempo change is fun. It's a good song, and yeah, I like it. There you go. Say what you will.
You're number 4.
I'm going to continue with talking about that song, Down the Highway. That's my number 4. I think everybody can relate to this song. I mean, gosh, think back when you were 15 years old. School year drug by so slowly, seemed like it would never end. Summer flew by out of control and left me here again with the memories, and it's true. My God, from August until June 5th, August 25th to June 5th, get me out of here, and then summer comes and you blink and They're already showing back to school commercials on TV in July, and you're like, God, 4 weeks. It's all over in 4 weeks. And it just, that pit in your stomach you got for the last week before school starts.
We're back at the Van Loon and looking at our Garanimals.
Oh, it just Garanimal. I'm talking about high school. I ain't talking about, I'm not talking about your 7th grade year.
Now, am I the only one, but does everybody have an aunt that has that same haircut?
Dude, I was going to say something. I was like, no, I'm not going to attack Tommy's hair.
I know I shouldn't either, but I was like, I'm pretty sure everybody's got an aunt.
Like, he has bangs.
And if you don't, go to your next family reunion and look. I bet
look around. You have a relative.
She's got a styrofoam plate full of potato salad.
Ambrosia salad.
All right. And she's got that haircut. I swear. Sorry, Tom. Love you. But
the bangs were what do you call it when you put imagery in?
Well, I think it's just like the
subliminal. It's like subliminal.
It's like the
girls with guns. Bang.
It's like the straight line, I think. Anyways,
girls with guns.
So Brent 4. So, all right. So now we're at the top 3.
Top 3.
So I'll count down from 11. How are you going to get used to this? The Night Goes On. I probably should have ranked that higher. The End, Down That Highway. 7 was Come to Be My Friend. Yeah, that should be all the way down there too. 5, My Hallucination. And 4, Don't Talk to Me Anymore. Don't Make Me Violent. Andy, 11, Blue Continental. Wrong answer. 10, The End. Then 9, Can't Live Without You. Come to Be My Friend. I'll Always Be With You. 6, The Night Goes On. How are you going to get used to this? And 4, Down the Highway. 11 for Brent, The End. The Night Goes On. Blue Continental. How are you going to get used to this? Can't Live Without You. Come to Be My Friend. Don't Talk to Me Anymore. And Down That Highway. So there's one song on here that is an all of our top 3.
Yep.
That's it. The rest have been somewhere already mentioned. So I will let's do this. Brent, give me your number 3. Let's see if it comes out.
My number 3 is the title track, My Hallucination. Because it's not as good as a song that we haven't talked about yet. But no,
exactly.
My Hallucinations, I'm not usually into stuff that has like political messages and what have you, because it kind of does, talking about,
30 years enough time for me. Tell me who shot Kennedy.
But it was about the peace, can we all just get along? And, but it works. It works really well in the song.
You got to remember that was what they lived.
Yeah, exactly.
Now they're middle-aged. They're writing about it.
Yeah, what is it? Just got a fax from Tokyo. That's so cool. But the song is so well written. Everything about it just works. And the drums sound fantastic on that song.
Are you going to mirror Brent, or are you going to
screw up
that song that none of us have mentioned yet?
I'm not going to throw out the song that shall not be named yet. My number 3 is Don't Talk to Me Anymore. There's not much more I can add to it that we haven't already said. Let me see what my note says here real quick. I got a dog pawing at me here. My notes were just, it's a mellow tune, but I don't know. When Josh starts breaking it down, I'm like, it is kind of odd because like the few times I've told someone to never speak to me again, it was followed by a bunch of cuss words or preceded by a bunch of "Don't you ever effing talk to me again." It wasn't like, "Hey," it wasn't like Marky Wahlberg. "Hey man, hey, don't talk to me anymore. How's your mother?" It wasn't that.
What?
I was screaming.
No.
At people. So yeah, that Josh has a way of swaying my thought process. I'm like, shit, I didn't even look at it that way.
You don't need all that money, Andy. Just send me some. I'll spend it more wisely. I'll skip
my therapy sessions.
My number 3, like I mentioned,
don't do it, Josh.
It had moved up in where I would have ranked it years ago is Blue Continental.
Yeah.
It would only be better if it was the Blue Cutlass. If they
Celebrity.
had renamed it, we drove the Celebrity out, but the Cutlass has a lot more memories to it. Going and he smoked Camel Wide, so trying to find a gas station to sell them to him, because he wasn't 18 yet, scrounging up to find the $1.06 to buy the smokes, all that good stuff. So so Blue Continental has moved up where it would have
substantially
been lower.
I'll sit here and say, using Josh's memory there, analogies of the Blue Continental, Brent, if you remember, I had that blue Bronco that I always drove around with the top off all summer long.
Oh, but God, if you had the top on and all you had was exhaust inside that thing, you smelled so bad after you rode in that car.
It wasn't the best vehicle I ever owned.
Didn't you paint that with like house paint?
No, I never did that. No.
That might have been your brother painting his Nova.
Yeah, Tony painted the Nova. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just made me think about it. I was like, I had a blue car. Wait, it was a convertible in a sense. It was a Bronco. I left the top off all the time.
I will go ahead and break the seal.
Don't do it.
My number 2 is I Stumble In.
This is where Josh is wrong.
So I Stumble In as the first appearance for this now. Probably the most rocking tune. Closest song we were saying to My Hallucination. But just a great upbeat song. I Stumble In, I can't help myself from falling. That little breakdown, cry baby cry. So I think if the record was more like that, you could have got away with it a little bit more. Now again, throw that song on anything else, it don't fit. It's still a light acoustics type song, but for this record, it was more the ones that was up tempo, but musically and lyrically good. So I broke the seal. My number 2, I Stumble In. Brent, number 2.
My number 2 is very interchangeable with my number 1. I had a hard time between these two songs. What makes number 2 work so well is Tommy's high ass vocals in the song, and I'll Stumble In. When they're sitting there, singing the chorus, Tommy's just wailing, and and I just had the lyric in me. I will be your destiny. I will be your destination. I'm your ticket hole, my friend. And hearing Tommy hit that high part, singing with Jack, it's just, it just molds together so well. But yeah, I had a tough time trying to figure out if that was my number. Some days it is my number 1,
but not today.
Not today. I had to be truthful, and I went with my heart on this. So, but yeah, I Stumble In. It's a great feel-good song.
Yeah,
Andy.
Absolutely. Unlike these two guys that are wrong, my number 2 is My Hallucination. As we've alluded to earlier, this was a great opener. It rocks. It alludes to what might be coming. Unfortunately, it does not. But as an opening track, this is a fun song, and I can't add much more than what we already talked about. But my notes were like, this was when if you first track you hit it, you're like, oh yeah, this will be something. And then it doesn't deliver the rest of the album as far as hard rocking, but it's a good album. We know that. We're not going to disparage the album, but yeah, I like this song and it's fun, and of course it's in Tommy Boy. So,
well, yeah, it's in Tommy Boy when they are riding with the topspin tore off
of their blue car,
and they're changing their radio station. And you got to remember too with like the line about who shot Kennedy, that was, you got to remember JFK had just came out. They had released some Kennedy documents in 92 or 93. So that was all over the news as well, probably when they're writing this in 93, 94. All right, Brent, your
number 1. Oh, I can't do that on my gut. I'll Always Be With You. You guys had this ranked lower. The song is, to me, lyrically, it's fantastic. I just fell in love with the song the first time I heard it. The part where Tommy comes in and sings his little part, just as the icing on the cake for the song. It works so well. Yeah, it's sappy, but I really like it. I just think it's fantastic. But like I said, some days I stumble in, it's gonna bury this song with, for me. Yeah. But yeah, when I hear it, and I, like I said, when I was telling Josh, and it's how much I like the song, I knew where I was when I heard it. It was in TJ Maxx, and I was just flipping out because I couldn't believe they were playing that song. Of course, I didn't know there was a video back then. Yeah. We didn't have YouTube or anything, and MTV sure as hell wasn't playing it.
They weren't playing this one.
Yeah, I probably didn't see the video till 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. To me, what saves the song, I won't say saves it, but the highlight of the song is that bridge, where Tommy is singing really high. Every time I try to tell you why, somehow the words just slip my mind. I've fallen deeper and deeper. I guess to me is I like the acoustic stuff. The reason why it's just not higher than the other stuff is morning brings another day. It's just a little bit too happy, and I like a little bit. Yeah, I like.
Josh likes to rock a little more.
Well, I also like. Well, I mean, I like the. It can't just be too much head shaking. Come to be my friend, or I mean, one thing I like about it is a little bit. I won't say
it's gritty,
darker, but it's
a little gritty.
Not that I like it, I guess more. But I don't like it. Just seems a little bit too commercial. But you need that too. I mean, that's the reason why it was the first single.
It just sounds sincere. The song sounds very sincere to me.
You know what? Jack's probably listening to this. He's like, I wrote it on the shitter.
He probably did.
But
it's about his dick.
Andy, number one.
Number one for me is there was no doubt. This is the first one I wrote down when we had to rank them 5 minutes before show started. I Stumble In, man. This song is, again, you guys have said everything. The one thing I'll add to it is besides the drum groove is just great.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm rocking along with this. It's something Brent and I have we've talked about, and I was struggling to think of the examples when Brent and I, maybe Brent will think of one, but Jack has a way when he sings of phrasing things, a certain cadence sometimes. And if you remember the song, there I stood with my umbrella. The way
you stood with your umbrella.
Well, but
the way standing in the pouring rain.
The way he does some of his phrasing, something about one of the things that always drew me to Jack Blades, and this song kind of first time I heard it, I'm like, yeah, that's that. And maybe I'm just
an
idiot about it, but it maybe it's not super unique. But it's something that I always associate with Jack Blades. It's a different way of phrasing songs.
It's got a good groove, just like you said. There you were with your umbrella.
Yeah.
That groove. It's got the high Tommy harmonies when they're just, I will be your destination. I'm your ticket home, my friend. That is what just makes that song, and obviously, it's the only song that we all ranked in our top three, top two.
And if you get, like I said, you get to the chorus and Tommy's up there, at that high harmony, which he's so great at.
And here's the thing is, and that sometimes it's maybe a criticism of, I guess, Night Ranger or Styx, but I've always, I think some of the reason why like Goodbye or Sentimental Street, they were top 10 hits, but maybe just aren't played as much is because who are you singing to in Goodbye? It's not really about a girl, so you don't get that emotional attachment. Sentimental Street and the Avenues, I mean, it sounds good, but I don't think it has that. And I think that's with I Stumble In. We've all been there. I stumble in. Is it drinking?
Yeah.
Is it I stumble into falling in love? A combination of both, so, but we've all been there, there you were with your umbrella standing in the pouring rain. I mean, I think we all have a memory of a girl with the wet hair. It's doing either you're together or you see her. So to me,
and the next lyric to that though is all about her expectations, lighting up for night of expectation. How else are you gonna? Nobody else is gonna fit those lyrics together but Jack Blades. In my opinion,
it's a vagueness that we all can just kind of relate to. We've all been in some situation with a love, whether it's a vice, whether it's a girl, whether it's a guy, whatever it is. We've all, which I think that's a testament to great songwriting. You can relate to it.
Feel that train arriving at your station.
You feel like, you all feel like that song's written for me.
Yeah.
And
so I mean,
and it rocks.
Yeah, like I said, I think it has the groove. It has the groove and the lyrics and the harmonies. My number one, and it's
we've done that yet, have we?
Yeah, my number one, and it's weird because it's probably the least Shaw Blades song on the record, but I think it's some of Jack's best vocals, right? And also, I mean, I think too, it's a good lyric. And, kind of like how you said, I think it sounds like a coffee commercial. I think that's just how in tune it is where, you think of morning and coffee just by, it's just 6 o'clock, time to get up. It's just a good lyric and a good melody. And my number one is I Can't Live Without You. Because, and it's a good, it's 8 a.m. trapped in a car, nothing but miles of cars ahead.
Yep.
And it's just, we've all been there. Dream of a faraway place. There was a time when you and I didn't care if we came home at night. And then I think, like I said, I think it's one of Jack's best vocals. Can't the world go away? It's so simple. It's almost like I shouldn't rank this that high. There's better lyrics, but sometimes simple is what makes it. Can't the world go away? Lock the door, come back another day. I don't know what to do, so I'm holding on to you. I can live without most everything, but I can't live without. Like I said, the simplicity of it is so good. We've all been there. So many wasted years, too many lonely tears. So I think just lyrically, it's great. Musically, it's great. And it just it closes out the record. Except for the end. But I think you need the end there to really pull you back into what the rest of the album was, because it's almost, if there's any record that's kind of a journey through the Night Ranger world, it's this record. You take a trip through kind of memory lane and relationships, and and I think you need the end, kind of bridges everything together. It takes you back to Come to Be My Friend, pisses Andy off, which I like now. It moves up just a spot for that. So that is my number one. I was surprised you guys had it ranked lower, but
I had it higher. I just started writing them down, and that was one of the first songs I wrote down. So it was actually the third song I wrote down of what that came out, because that song's so epic. It's very epic, especially when him and Tommy are singing the chorus together.
So there we are. There is my hallucination, Shaw Blades, or as Eddie Van Halen would call them, Saw Blades. So if you have not heard this record,
what's wrong with you?
You are missing out. Again, don't put this record in, wanting to, after you've had an argument with your girlfriend or you want to drive your car fast. Get this record when you want to have a beer and relax, maybe have a campfire. I want that list without the songs blacked out. We know two of them probably straight down the line, and the other one, I can't remember what it's called now. But if you take those two, there's four more on here that are marked out. Have to get.
This is back in print now. What, through Rock Candy Records?
Rock Candy released it with, and I got it, but I obviously don't know where the fuck I put it. It has, if I remember correctly, it does have the 2 Japanese tracks. So it's got Straight Down the Line, which Straight Down the Line would probably be in my top 3.
Yeah, it's a great song.
And How Does It Feel? Which How Does It Feel? It could easily replace Down That Highway. How You Gonna Get Used to This? The Night Goes On. It's in that, kind of feel of a song. So you could replace, so they're it's worth getting. And I wish I would have found it because I would have read through the booklet a little bit. I'm sure they did a new interview, but yeah, it's one of those, probably one of those last records too, where I would, devour the CD book, right? Like I remember like, God, like I'd love to be, like, where's this fence at? Where are they at?
Yeah, it's Jack's Ranch, I believe.
Probably all this is.
Yeah.
But so yeah, good.
I think this album is an album they both wanted to do. It's something they wanted to just.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. I would. No,
I don't mean it that way.
Going back to that, I would just be like, you do okay. You make something commercial, what people are going to expect, and if it bombs, it bombs. Then you do this record. I just don't see where that record. I'm surprised.
Never had a chance.
I'm surprised. I don't know. I do know that there were people in Tommy's circle that straight up told him, this is not the record you want to do. And, people that were close to him that they, considered friends, and like Tommy pushed them out. Like once they said that, they were not in Tommy's circle no more.
Wow.
Because they had the debate of, do I tell Tommy what I think, or do I kiss his ass?
Nobody wants to hear.
And they said like, I don't think it's the right record. And, and you're talking,
doesn't make it a bad record.
Doesn't make it a bad record. Just it's just commercially. And, it would be interesting just to talk to Jack and like, what were you thinking? Well, maybe they can provide a different angle. Just, I just know when you've had 5 years of this, right, and you're going to buy this, you're not expecting that, especially at 1995. 1995 is the height of grunge. Now your argument could be that it doesn't matter what you put out.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. Well, okay, let's just make the record we want. I mean, I guess you could say that, but I think you're cementing the fact that you're not going to make another record on Warner Brothers if you put that out. So I don't know. Like I said, there was still rock radio that would play stuff for 3 or 4 weeks when it came out at that time, at least here, and they would have played Shaw Blade's rock stuff, maybe not in the prime spots, but like, I remember Def Leppard, they would play stuff, the new single off Slang, Work It Out, the new Scorpions. So, stuff would get airplay. It wouldn't last, but
the only thing I ever heard on the radio was when like you listen to AM radio, talk radio, they call it bumper music. The music that come in, hey, this is Brent Walter on 700, blah, blah, blah. And, and it was My Hallucination would come in with a little guitar riff, and they'd talk over it before the lyrics came out, and they'd fade it out and they'd be into their program.
But yeah, they were supposed to do that tour that summer, and they did do a show in Maryland. You can find that on YouTube.
I know where they didn't do a show.
I remember I was at the Newport so often back then that in the front row that I got to know the head security guy, and he'd always come up and just say hi, and I said something about being there like the next week or something for Shaw Blades. He's like, yeah, that show's not happening. I think someone like broke their arm or something. He wasn't too sure, but and what's funny is I always wondered what happened to that guy, and he showed up on our page
Really?
a year ago or so, right? And posted a couple photos and wrote how he did security. And I put in there like, hey man, I remember you. Now, I'm sure he didn't remember me, and I can't remember his name, but he's never posted since or anything like that. So I had to probably go look and see if I could find the post, but he did make it. I always wondered what happened to him, because he was at all those shows.
That's
But
crazy, man.
And he did the security for Polaris too, the amphitheater north of Columbus. But there you go, Shaw Blades, 1995, one of the best records out there. So, listen, there are a lot of people who are listening on YouTube and then are finding us, but they are not on the Facebook page because they're finding us on YouTube. Listen, if you enjoy the podcast, all the action is on the Facebook page. Everybody's getting involved, posting stuff. It's where you get up to the minute. You will find out concerts there before you will on Night Ranger, anything else. The podcast is usually a week behind or so. So go to the Facebook page. The other thing I would tell everyone as well is go to the Fans in Motion Twitter. It's a lot easier to share stuff there. All I got to hit is a button and then retweets. So everything, little news that I see or a cool photo, I can just retweet on the Fans in Motion Twitter. Instagram, I still have some unique stuff there that I can put in stories. So each of them have their own unique thing. So, but again, the hub is the Fans in Motion Facebook page. So go to Facebook, up at the top, just search Fans in Motion Night Ranger. You'll find us, and hit join, and we will accept you if you're an outstanding citizen. And then, like I said, go to Instagram, Twitter as well. If you don't want to watch the podcast on the YouTube, or you want to torture your family on a family vacation, you can get us on Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Stitcher. The one I like is Audio Mac, Apple Podcasts, all that great and lovely stuff. So there you go.
And leave a review.
And you can go to the fansofmotion.com and leave, you can go to fansofmotion.com and get everything there as well. I'm a little bit behind on YouTube comments. Definitely leave us comments on YouTube. It's just I'm a little bit behind leaving comments and replies there. But yeah, there we go. Shaw Blades. What's our next shows coming up? I think all of us are going to be in Wilmington at Rock the Block.
I think that's the next one.
July 23rd. There may be a show in June we'll be at. We'll just leave that in the air because I don't think it's been publicly announced. But I think the one that we're all going to be at that we've got is July 23rd, right? Wilmington?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But the major hint is it's going to be one of our area. Close to it anyway.
That ain't a hit. That's 90% of the show.
Oh, Josh goes to Wisconsin.
I got the shit kicked out of me in Wisconsin.
So July 23rd, Wilmington, Ohio, Murphy Theater, the Rock on the Block. It's 2 or 3 nights of Stripers playing the night before. It's a good time, so a lot of Fans of Motion will be there. So if you're somewhere in driving distance, you want to have a good rockin' weekend, there you go. Night Ranger's playing, I think, North Dakota the night before.
Yeah, that's
Are they really?
Yeah, I sent Ed a message. I'm like,
who did that?
Well, money probably did that, but yeah. So that should be interesting.
We can go pick them up at the airport.
Fuck those
They're
guys.
gonna fly in.
They can Uber.
Yeah.
But all right. So there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it's not 3 weeks before you hear from us again. even though it is nice not having to talk to Brent for 3 weeks.
It's nice to
And
have a
I
little break.
did wear the Fans in Motion.
Yeah, I noticed that shirt. I like that shirt you got there, Josh.
So a little tight in the arms, so it does show the guns, even though
Is it
Guns out.
But it's a tight. I mean,
no, it's just tight here, which is good if I was in a little bit better, because it'll show off the guns a little bit. But I gotta.
when you take it out of the wash machine, stretch it a little bit before you dry it, or just hang dry it. It'll.
I do the same thing when I get out of the shower. So all right. On that note, Brent, say goodbye.
Goodbye to Josh. I'm stretching it out of the shower.
And Andrew, say goodbye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. Remember, always tell a friend. If we can get one more person to sign up, it'd be awesome. What are we up to, Josh? We're at 6,800 people, I think, right now. So if everybody listening tells one other person, it helps grow the show and grow the community and keeps the mighty Night Ranger in the Midwest.
I say we put it on our fans, like not our fans of motion overseas, like Mark Greenaway. Get some people from England. What are you doing? I'm just trying to get people. We haven't done enough stuff for the drinking game.
We don't want any English or Tories. So
bloody hell.
No, the English.
All right, everybody.
The English are okay. Their food not so much. Even though, what the hell is it called?
Spotted dick.
So when I was in Afghanistan, well, since you guys are bringing up England, I can't tell these stories anyway. So when I was in Afghanistan, there was a British chow hall that I would go to because it was close, and all their food's just horrible. It's just it's either fish and chips or something that just
chips and fish
has no taste whatsoever. And they had this sauce. It's got Big Ben on it, H8 or something like that. Anyways,
I know what you're talking about.
So I found it at Jungle Jim's. I went there after the Jules show the next day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's like, hey, I remember dousing all that British food with that just to get some taste. So it took me back. So there you go. I have to have a conversation. I have to bring that sauce down and have a conversation with Mark about it. But anyways, we are rambling. If you're still listening, you got issues. We will see you later. Bye.
Spotted dick. Yeah, I didn't know spotted dick was a real thing. I thought somebody was just making that up and pulling one on me.
Well,
I looked it up.
King Ralph is basically a documentary on English life.
Was it? I've never seen.